All right, and welcome back. Anyone who's coming here from part one. This is part two of our magazine tour of the issue 369 of Game Informer magazine. If you missed part one, this is the first Game Informer after Game Informer came back after their hiatus. And we are starting here at the tabletop section. So, tabletop section here, this is something kind of new to me as far as it comes to gaming magazines. I know in the past when I had gotten magazines, tabletop wasn't nearly as big of a deal. So it's kind of cool to see a section like that out there. But I got some pretty cool screenshots here and up over here as well. Looks like they're going over the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. Looks like they got a nice featurette set up here. Goes in quite a bit of detail here. Kind of some cool artwork here in the bottom corner. And it looks like it's just the one pager or just the one article there as far as tabletop goes. From there, they kind of jump over into Donkey Kong Country, the Minecart Madness over at Super Nintendo, was it Super Nintendo Land or Super Nintendo World over at the in the theme park. Oh, there you go, Super Nintendo World. Um, Honestly, some on my bucket list of things I want to try before I kill over one of these days. I definitely want to go and check out Super Nintendo World, take the kids out there, have a good time. My kids love both Nintendo and Harry Potter, and you can get both of those at Universal. So one of these days, I'll save up enough pennies and take the kids out there. But I also need to get myself on a bit of a diet so I can actually fit some of those rides because I'm not sure if these rides are made for a 40-year-old man of my stature. But moving on here, it looks like we get to the main event for the magazine. It looks like this is their big feature on Borderlands 4. So let's take a look at some pretty cool artwork here. The Psycho's looking pretty crazy, which I mean they always do, but artwork is kind of popping. I like that, like the fire they have there in the background. So going through here, they have a pretty detailed feature here. Some good artwork, some good screenshots down here. Hopefully the glare from the overhead lights aren't too bad. I know the glossy pages always make it difficult to see sometimes. Um, Talk about the different weapons in the game a little bit. Some more screenshots. Got another entire page here. Looks like we got some more, couple screenshots, some more artwork. Looks like they talk about the story here. Story follows the events of Borderlands 3. Lilith, the siren who debuted in the original Borderlands, realized Pandora's moon Elpis had to be removed, so on and so forth. So, yeah, it looks like they go into some of the story details here. Moving on, we got some more artwork, which looks. I definitely love the artwork associated with Borderlands. It's always so stylized. I think probably some screenshots or maybe some more. Oh, looks like concept art down over here. More details on the game. This is actually a really big feature they have for it, which doesn't surprise me. Faded Fates section. Going more into some of the details on the game. Looks like we got more screenshots and artwork here. All of it looking pretty good. There's a little headline here: Unfamiliar Faces and Primordial Places. Primordial, I should say. And then still continuing on. Man, this is a big feature. Feel the burn, lifting the veil. And some more concept art here. Oh, what's cool is they actually have even more. Looks like they have more details on here. Down here, might not be able to see it depending on the resolution of my camera, but more exclusive coverage of Gearbox's exciting looter shooter. Head to GameInformer.com/Borderlands 4. And then there's also a QR code. So apparently they have even more details. So that's really a big feature for them. And moving on, looks like looks like they got some details here on the Shinobi game that came out recently. Obviously, this came out I think before the game had come out, so this is more of a preview. This is one that I had looked into purchasing. I'm hoping to get this one pretty soon. I had picked up Ninja Gaiden Ragebound because it came out a little bit before the Shinobi game did, and I actually heard the Shinobi game from a few different sources say it's actually better than Ragebound. I was really enjoying Ragebound until they gave me the chance to play as the Konoichi, and then I was like, "Wow, she's awesome!" And then they're like, "Cool, you can only play her once in a while," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I'm kind of that kind of took a little of the excitement out for me. Still a good game, but I think it could have been a little bit better. But Shinobi, I hear, is great, so I definitely need to give that one a shot. Looks like they got a pretty decent feature on this one. Yeah, the artwork on this one is gorgeous. Like I don't know why I've waited so I haven't bought it yet. Like the game just looks so good, and I love the stylized art that they have for this one. It's pretty cool. They're showing some of the original Shinobi details as well. Then it moves on to some other previews. Resident Evil Requiem, which I think at the time of this, yeah, looking at this one here, looks like at the time of the magazine was published, it had not yet been announced it's going to be out on Switch 2 as well. We had to talk about for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, but that is also coming to the Switch 2. I am curious how well it's going to run, so I definitely might, I think I might check that one out on the Switch 2 because this one definitely got my attention. I don't play a lot of horror games anymore, not necessarily because they're scary, but because me and my old eyes have trouble being able to see the details as much anymore. So it ends up being kind of tough for me to see anything just in all the dark environments. And there's a difference between dying because of challenge and dying just because you physically can't see anything. And I don't really want to turn up the brightness because then it just kind of washes everything out. But I don't know. I still might try this one. It looks kind of cool. Well, it looks really cool, honestly. They got talk a little bit about the new Invincible Versus game. 007 First Light. The previews on that look pretty good. I don't know if I'll try it right away, but I might give that one a shot at some point. Talk about Mixtape, which I saw just a little bit of at Summer Game Fest, if I remember correctly, but I don't know too much about that. But they got a nice feature here, so I'm sure I could figure out what's going on there. Sword of the Sea here, which I like the art design on this one as well. Grand Theft Auto 6, I know that's going to be huge when that comes out. You know, a lot of the rumors out there saying this might be the first $100 game. Not gonna lie, I certainly hope not. Not a big fan of thought about spending $100 per game. Granted, you know, if there's enough content in it, I guess. But Grand Theft Auto's never really been like one of my main franchises. I don't think I've actually played one since Grand Theft Auto 3 back on the PS2. It just never really grabbed my attention. But to those who love it, you know, comment about what you like about it and how, you know, tell us how excited you are for it. You know, I don't, might not be my game, but I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. Pragmata, I remember seeing that one at Summer Game Fest. That one's interesting. I'm kind of curious how the little girl on your back works. I can't remember what the detail was. It was like she was a ghost or computer program or whatever. But that one looked interesting. They got Grounded 2. Then they got Onimusha Way of the Sword. Looking looking forward to that. I'm glad that we got Onimusha coming back. Cause I played and loved the original, and then I played through almost all of 2, and then I kind of didn't step back and didn't really play Onimusha after that. Like I never tried Onimusha 3 or anything. I did pick it up when it got re-released though on the Switch a few years back, and did play through the first one again. Phantom Blade Zero, which that one's not really on my radar, but if it's something you guys are interested in, you know, let me know. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, I think I talked about that last time. Super looking forward to that one. Made by the same group that did Shredder's Revenge, I believe. I know it's at least published by the same group. Looks like a lot of fun. You know, I like the beat 'em up games are fun for like quick hits for playing for like a little while. So those are really good when I have some time constraints. It's also fun to play with the kids. You know, my son's 9, my daughter's 7. My son can hold his own pretty good. My daughter's still trying to get the hang of it. But for some of these beat 'em up games, it's actually a lot of fun because then I can. It's a lot easier to carry her when she's struggling, and then she still just has a lot of fun pushing the buttons and. You know, I let her have all the healing items and everything. So, love those kind of games to play with her, especially when they're in like a very comic style thing. environment, so it doesn't feel like it's that violent. So like with Shredder's Revenge, just beating up robots, it didn't feel like it was anything that was too much for her for to handle. And from everything I've seen here, it's gonna be the same thing with Marvel Comic Invasion. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, I believe that one came out, and people seem to like that one quite a bit. I haven't tried it out myself. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. I haven't really followed much of this one either. Um, Came out a little bit ago, so I just haven't really followed it. So I don't know much. Ninja Gaiden 4 just came out. I tried the Ninja Gaiden Black 2 or the Ninja Gaiden 2 Black or whatever it's called, the remakes that they did in HD. Those are pretty cool, but I haven't tried anything about Ninja Gaiden 4. Outer Worlds 2, I know that was a pretty big feature during Summer Game Fest, and people were kind of mixed on it. If I remember correctly, there's also some pretty good controversy around the pricing of it, but then they kind of adjusted the pricing down, so that kind of faded into the background after that. Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree. I don't remember seeing much about this one. It looks like another roguelike, which I'm cool with roguelikes. I don't play too many of them because I just don't have enough time to get good enough to really progress in those. Wu Tang Rise the Deceiver. I don't actually remember hearing nothing about this one, so I might have to read up on this one later, see what's going on there. But if anyone has any thoughts on it, feel free to share. Holston, another one I don't really remember seeing anything about. Uh, Possessors, I remember seeing a bit about. That one looks kind of fun. Um, from the creators of Hyperlight Drifter, which I thought Hyperlight Drifter was fantastic. So that one would be one I'll probably want to take a look at some point. And then looks like they got quite a few other quick hits here. The Demon Slayer game. The first one was okay, kind of your standard catch grab license game, nothing special. But if you like the anime, it's fine. Morsels, I haven't heard anything about. Then we got Toem 2, Dosa Divas, One Last Meal, Fading Echo, Blighted, Mouse PI for Hire. That one looks like that one could be kind of interesting. I might check a look at that at some point. Pedal Runner, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. Really looking forward to that one. I wasn't the biggest Mortal Kombat fan when I was a kid. I was definitely a Street Fighter kid versus Mortal Kombat. I definitely played Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat 4, and then I took a break on Mortal Kombat after 4 until Mortal Kombat 2009 came out on the Xbox 360, and I picked that one up and played that one quite a bit. But I think that'll be a fun trip down memory lane. Definitely going to play that one when the kids are asleep or if they're at least not in the room. Not going to let my kids get anywhere near that one. Got Atomic Heart 2, Beast of Reincarnation. That's the one that blew everyone's mind when we found out that was from Game Freak, especially because there's still a lot of controversy over the quality of the actual Pokemon games that Game Freak's been putting out, and yet we see something here that looks extremely visually striking and competent. So we'll see what that one looks like. We got the Cube, Directive 8020, Chronicles Medieval, Dying Light the Beast, Ill. And then they got their reviews. It's been a long time since I've read a game review. So this one here, their main feature is for Doom the Dark Ages. Looks like they gave that a 9.5. Not gonna lie, Doom was a lot of fun. I don't know if I'd have given it a 9.5 myself. I probably would have given it somewhere probably about an 8.5 or a 9, but it's still a great game. Then Elden Ring Night Rain. Looks like they gave that one 8. Got a nice full pager on that one. The Midnight Walk, they gave an 8. Mario Kart World, they did a 2-page feature on this one. Gave that one an 8.25, which I think is fair. Like, I love Mario Karts, like, just in general, but I never get sucked into Mario Karts. They're always fun, either with the family, with friends, or for short little bits here and there for me. I never sit down and play, 5 hours of Mario Kart. It's not my. It doesn't suck me in that much, but I do enjoy the franchise overall. They got Blades of Fire. I don't even think I've heard of that game, which at a 5.5, I guess I'm not missing much. Granted, I'll still check out maybe I'll check out some other thoughts on it as well because I never go by just one review. Revenge of the Savage Planet, 8.5. Claire Obscure Expedition 33, they give that a 9. That's a pretty fair rating overall. I probably would have given that probably a 9.5, maybe even a 10. I need to finish it before I can say if I'm going to give it a 10 or not. It'll just depend on how that ending for me hits. But I think 9 is probably pretty fair for most people. I know not everybody's into turn-based combat, so that'll be a little different for everyone. Then they got Monster Train, which gave a 9.25. I might have to check that one out. That's one that I haven't really watched much of before, so that's actually pretty interesting. And then we got kind of a ton of quick hits. I don't know if you can see it right here, but there's an editor's note. Says, with this being our first issue since July of 2024, we want to highlight not only recent releases, but also some of the biggest games that came out while they were shut down. So for full versions reviews, you can go to GameInformer.com/reviews. I think it's actually pretty cool that they are kind of bringing you to the website as well. So it's not just the print mag only that you're looking for. But it looks like they gave Blueprints a 9.5, which I knew that was a Game of the Year front runner for a bit. Star Wars Outlaws 8.5. Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom's an 8. WWE 2K25 an 8.25. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown 7.5. Not gonna lie, I definitely preferred Shredder's Revenge, and even it was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like Shattered Dimension or Shattered something. I forget the roguelike one. Were pretty good. So this one looks like it's a step below. Silent Hill 2 at an 8.75. I think that one just hit PlayStation Plus. So that's one you can go and try out if you got PlayStation Plus. MLB The Show at 8.5. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 at an 8. I've been wanting to try that one. Haven't gotten around to it yet. It's gone on sale a couple times. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. I probably will at some point. Astrobot, that one's a 10. Not surprised. Game of the Year winner from the Keeley Awards, so I'm not surprised that one got a 10. That's one I myself really need to try. I haven't actually played it yet. I'm a pretty big fan of platformers, so I'm not sure why I haven't gotten around to it. I just haven't. Moving forward here, Marvel Rivals, 8.5. I enjoy Marvel Rivals quite a bit. I have a lot of fun playing it. I suck though, but still have fun. I'm not that competitive, so I don't mind that I die a lot as long as I'm not a hindrance to the team. I'm good at usually being kind of like right in the middle, which is kind of my sweet spot. Avowed 8.25. Metaphor ReFantazio, that one got a 9. I'm a huge fan of the Atlas JRPGs, so looking forward to playing some more of that. That one's actually my PS5 right now. I just got it started, but I haven't gone through too much of it yet. I had spent my time before playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because I hadn't gotten busy when it first came out and barely had time to circle back on that one. Then we have Dragon Age: The Veilguard got an 8. Sonic X Shadow Generations with an 8.5. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle got a 9. Heard that's a really great one. Kingdom Come Deliverance at 9.5. Assassin's Creed Shadows at 8.5. That one I wanted to give a try. I just haven't got around to it yet. Like a Dragon, 8.5. Or I should say Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, 8.5. Monster Hunter Wilds, 8.75. I don't know what it is about Monster Hunter games. I cannot wrap my head around those games. I'm just not good. I'm just not good at them. So after the quick reviews, looks like we have a interview section here. Turning long nights into dreams. Spoke with Naoto Oshima, artist and designer behind so many of Sega's classic works, including Sonic the Hedgehog and his impressive career. And the little play on words here they have is I believe he also worked on Nights into Dreams, which came out on Sega Saturn. And oh, hey, there it is. Which Nights into Dreams is a really cool game. I wish I'd owned a Saturn because I would have really loved to play that more in depth. They did put out a Wii Nights game that I picked up at one point, but never really got into. But kind of a nice to see kind of an interview here, especially with somebody who's been in the industry as long as they did. Kind of reminds me of when G4 back in the day used to have that icons, and they would do stories on some of the icons in gaming before it got turned too much into like a Spike TV clone. They started doing it on other people like Mark Echo and whomever else. Um, then they got a little detail here about the lost issue, talking about how when they got shut down, that their August issue ended up never coming out. Looks like you can find some more pieces for those at GameInformer.com. And then we have a closeout here of an ad, which, kind of crazy to think about here. Going through this whole issue, there's hardly any ads. I think there's the one at the very beginning for like St. Jude's, which didn't even feel like an ad, and there's one here off the grid, which I'm honestly not even familiar with what that is exactly. Um, for better or for worse, it's definitely a different feeling than um, these magazines were in the past. I know the ones when I was a kid had a ton of ads, but that was also part of what we just kind of looked at and kind of let us get excited for certain games, sometimes warranted, sometimes not. But that's it. That's our back cover. This back cover makes me think of The Guyver, if anyone ever saw that show. I'm on a podcast called Anime and Tea, and one of the guys on there, Colin, loves The Guyver, so he would get that reference. But yeah, so that's the Game Informer's little comeback issue. Thanks for taking a look at it with me. I'm definitely going to go through and read some of it more in depth going forward. I will say, overall, it's kind of nice to have a little bit more print media back. I didn't realize how much I missed it until it was actually gone, which tends to be the way a lot of these things work. It is kind of interesting, though, there being a whole lot less ads. I don't know if I prefer that or not. The nostalgia in me remembers just seeing so many of the goofy ads or some of the more, we'll say, risque or daring ads that they would throw into some of these magazines, and showing my friends and us talking about them and getting excited over different games coming out, and then some of them just being absolute trash while some of them were fan frickin' tastic. So I don't know if I'm how I feel about the ads. Maybe that'll be just how it is for this first issue. I know they were just getting re-ramped up, so they might not have had a lot of interest in people wanting to purchase ad space. When I take a look at the next couple issues, we'll see if that changes. But anyways, thanks for sticking through this. Thanks for listening. Thanks for exploring this this issue with me. Like I said in the first video, I do want to do more of these going forward. I think next I might pick a classic magazine to go through, or I might pick issue 370 since this one was issue 369 for Game Informer. But whatever route we go, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.